Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the brand new French Tier 8 Premium Tank Destroyer, the SFAC 105. Now if you do like the video as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the SFAC 105, it is a tank that you can get in the Banners of Valor store for about 8,500 flags. What's it like as a tank? Well, it's a lot of fun. It's got the double barrel mechanic, as you can see here, the standard double barrel mechanic that you're used to from the Soviet tanks. That is not the new British FV225 one. And that means that a lot of the time you're best to fire single shot, but you have the flexibility to switch into the double shot and try and hit people big, but you've got to use that mechanic wisely as to thinking, okay, I want to double barrel here because I'm not going to have the opportunity to fire again, or you know you're going to get spotted if you fire, so you may as well double salvo into someone for nearly 800 as opposed to just hitting them for 400. It's that flexibility that is really, really nice with the double barrel mechanic, and it is very, very good on this tank, as the damage just keeps flowing with it, which is great. It doesn't have any armor to speak of, but yeah, it has absolutely no armor. It's one of those that will, if it gets penned here, set on fire all the time. If they pen you anywhere in this turret, they will damage your gun. So it gets module damaged all the time, but the guns are fantastic. You've got good mobility, you've got fantastic camo. If you like your stealthy tank destroyers, you will like the SFAC 105, as it is a very good tank at what it does, because as well as that, the shell velocity is fantastic, and the pen, and having that 390 alpha is lovely. So, let's get into the statistics of the SFAC 105. So as you can see, 55 km/h top speed, with a 20 km/h reverse speed, 480 horsepower engine, is 17.14 horsepower per ton ratio, which means it will get to that 55 km/h top speed, but it's sometimes a little bit sluggish getting there, which is why I quite like running the powertrain, and in general, if I ran the traction system, I could hit 60, but if I was going downhill, generally I floated between 50 to 55, so I actually started running the powertrain instead, so that you get about 18 horsepower per ton ratio, and that meant that I could actually get up to the top speed a lot more easier, and basically be that little bit less sluggish, which was quite nice for it. You've got the 20% internal fire chance. Again, it likes getting set on fire. If you get penned in the hull, you're likely to get set on fire, so be careful of that. And 20 km/h reverse speed, by the way, is fantastic for a TD. You got 35 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed, which means the tank turns fairly quickly on its tracks. Ground resistances that don't really hold the tank back whatsoever. 309 meters of still concealment, with 357 meters of on the move concealment. Now, the on the move concealment isn't great, but you can get that down with still concealment. The standard concealment is really nice at 309. You'll get that down really low, and that helps this tank to stay unspotted while farming quite a lot, and to be able to poke up, stay unspotted while it pokes up, double barrel someone, and then as soon as you get spotted, pull back, which is, again, very lovely. You got 22 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which means the turret rotation is a lot slower than the tracks, and it's one of those things that is very typical for a turreted TD, so it was to be expected, to be fair, and that's actually pretty good for a turreted TD. You got 1.32 accuracy during rotation, and a 5.94 accuracy during movement, which is, yeah, absolutely atrocious, which again is very typical of a TD. It is just absolutely atrocious dispersions during rotation and movement. It means that generally the aim circle blooms out massively on the SFAC 105 as soon as you move, so you'll have to spend some time aiming to get the shots down range. But you do have a 1.7 second aim time, which is amazing, and means it does aim in very, very quickly anyway, so you can take that. You've got 8 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty flexible for the SFAC 105. It is a rear-mounted turret with a limited turret traverse, so it can be sometimes a bit of a pain because you have to overexpose your hull, but still it's fairly flexible. And yeah, it looks 69 degrees to the left and the right. Absolutely. You get it. You know it. Giggity. So yeah, 69 degrees to the left and the right. You've got 0.4 accuracy at 100 meters, which is actually fairly derpy, but you can get it to be pretty accurate in general. And to be honest, most of the time, if you are fully aimed, this gun will hit its shots. It's very nice for that. A 10.5 second reload is 2.2k DPM, which is not fantastic. But if you add in the fact that you've got a second gun that also does it, and while this one is reloading, this one can be ready to fire, it just means that the damage does keep racking up very, very quickly, and because you have the ability to also double barrel and slam in 2 rounds for nearly 800, it can be rather beautiful for that. You've got 270mm of penetration on the standard APCR rounds, which is fantastic. You don't really struggle to pen most things with the APCR, which is great, except for maybe Type 5 heavies or mouse tanks, or even maybe a 279E, but where you struggle to pen those tanks, you can just load 320 heat pen, and that will go through most of them too. 1415 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR is fantastic, means it absolutely flies, and you don't have to give too much lead at distance to be able to hit your shots with this gun, and it is genuinely beautiful. 940 meters a second shell velocity on the heat and the HE means that you do have to give a lot more lead with those two rounds. It is below average, so you've got to be careful of how you are taking your shots. Make sure you're giving it enough lead and making sure you're fully aiming it to be able to get those shots in. You will feel a massive difference in the gun between firing the APCR and the heat rounds. And as it is a Tier 8 Premium, it does have a 150% silver bonus, which means it does make decent silver for a Tier 8 Premium Tank Destroyer. The other thing I did forget to mention is the 360 meters of view range, which is low. It is below average because generally a lot of Tier 8s have about 380 meters of view range. 360 is below average, but still, for a Tank Destroyer, it's a bit more normal. And you can get that up to still a decent level with optics, situational awareness, born leader, food, etc, etc, so that you can still spot for yourself and combine it with the fantastic camo to spot people at a decent distance. So let's have a quick look at the modules on the SFAC. That's where the engine bay is here on the SFAC, and this is why it gets set on fire all the time. If they shoot you through that upper hole, like most of the time, they will damage the engine and set you on fire. That's the pain of the SFAC if you take hits in that hull armour. That's where the ammo racks are. It's quite likely to get its ammo rack damaged as well, as you can see if it's taking hits, and this is why I say this tank is a walking crit bell. If it gets hit, it will most likely get a module damage, so be careful of it realistically, and there is 5 crew members right there. You're likely to take 2 out if you shoot it to the left and right of the gun. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the armour. Like I say, it has none. It's 30mm on the turret, which means most tanks will overmatch it. The hull armour on the side is, what, 40mm? Or not even that. It is that. It's 20mm, which means, again, you get overmatched on the side. The upper plate will get overmatched. And even the front by a lot of guns you will face might get overmatched too. It's just made of spit and Kleenex. So let's have a look at the crew for the SFAC 105, and as you can see, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Run and Gun, Steady Aim, with Snapshot as well. I've confused myself with how I've labelled this out. Silent Driving and Camouflage Expertise, which means that I can get my camo down to a really low level, especially if I run the Camo Net, and all 3 gun perks to help this gun out as much as possible, because its base stats are pretty bad in terms of the dispersions during accuracy on rotation and movement, and the standard aim as well, or the standard accuracy at 100 meters. So you really want to help that out as much as possible with all 3 gun perks, as well as making the camo fantastic, because, like I say, this tank is a stealthy tank destroyer. So let's put our food on, which makes a massive difference as well, and we run the Camo Net, Optics, and powertrain. Like I say, it is between the powertrain and the traction system. Traction system will give you better track traverse as well, but it will get you up to 60 kilometers an hour, which, like I say, when I was running it, generally, I didn't really hit the 60 kilometers an hour top speed unless I was going slightly downhill. So I was generally going between 50 to 55, so I've run the powertrain instead, which helps me be that little bit less sluggish, get off the mark a little bit quicker, still get up to about 57 to 58 kilometers an hour, and yeah, just have that extra oomph in the engine. Optics to be able to spot for yourself, because like I say, this tank doesn't really have much view range, so it's the best thing to do is to help it out so it can spot for itself, use the camo and spot things at further distances, so it can try and stay unspotted a little bit easier, and the Camo Net to have that best camo you can possibly get in this SFAC 105, because that is the way it's going to play, because it is a stealthy tank destroyer. You don't want to be going brawling with this thing. But yeah, that's what I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the SFAC 105. Let's have a look at the statistics now it's fully kitted out. So as you can see, we've got 57.75 km/h top speed with a 21 km/h reverse speed, 504 horsepower engine now, which is 18 horsepower per ton ratio. So we've gained about 0.85 I should say on that power to weight, which is pretty nice for the tank. And again, it's still not the most quickest tank off the mark, and it still feels a little bit sluggish every now and then, but still 18 horsepower per ton ratio is a lot better than the 17.14 I think it was beforehand. Ground resistances have got better, although we've not really helped it out too much, but like I said, they are still fantastic as it was. 235 meters of still concealment is incredible, means you will really struggle to be spotted unless you fire. 254 meters of on the move concealment, again, is still really, really good. Will help you get to aggressive bush locations very easily, and that way you'll stay unspotted until you fire your guns, unless you're using concealment correctly. And 461 meters of view range, again, is below average, but it's good enough that you will at least spot things above the 445 meter cap, or start devaluing people's camo anyway to spot them further in that regard. 23.89 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed means it is a little bit quicker, but again, we've not done too much to help it. We've now got 0.81 accuracy during rotation, which is a lot better than the 1.3 it was. A lot better, which means when you turn the turret, the gun doesn't bloom out quite as badly as it did. Still not great, but it's a lot better than it was. And a 4.45 accuracy during movement, which again is a lot better than it was, but still means that your aim circle blooms out hugely as soon as you move the tank. 1.57 second aim time is, again, that 0.13 better than the base aim time, and it does aim in supremely quickly, which means it doesn't take long at all to get going, to get the damage out of this SFAC 105. 0.32 accuracy at 100 meters is a lot more accurate than the 0.4 it was. It's a pretty accurate gun when you get it fully aimed. It's just occasionally you do feel the base 0.4, where occasionally it will just go, you know what, I'm just going to hit the floor over there because lol. And you go, thanks SFAC 105, thanks for that. 8.51 second reload is 2.7k DPM, and yeah, you've basically got two guns that can do that, so your DPM is a lot higher than you're actually going to get if you're just looking at the base stats. And like I said, it's one of those things with these double barrels, the damage does just keep racking up, and it is a very, very nice tank to play generally. If you like your stealthy tank destroyers, you will like this tank. If you don't like tanks that have no armor and are stealthy tank destroyers, or stealthy vehicles in general, you will not like this tank. It's one of those that you can't be too aggressive in it. The double barrel gives you that stopping power, which is very, very nice, and in those close quarter situations it can be very good for that. But generally, it can be a bit awkward if you try and be too aggressive in it. So what I'm going to do now is send you into the replays where you can watch this tank in action, see how it handles, see if it's a bit of you or not, and yeah, just see if you enjoy the looks of the tank. So as always, everybody, I will see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the SFAC 105. This first replay, we are top tier here on Pilsen. And what I want to do on Pilsen is go to the 890 line so that I can go haul down on the little ridge lines, use the little bushes that are over there, and generally try and get cross shots as people go up the ABC line. It's a little bit easier for me to play the SFAC 105 on that line than it is on the other line, because, well, the other line's a bit more heavy tank brawly. This has got a bit more fields where I can take cover on the ridge lines and stuff like that. Now, if you want to activate the double barrel mode on this vehicle, you do have to press left on the D-pad, and if you press left on the D-pad, that will activate the double barrel mode, and you can do stuff like this. Get it fully aimed, 751, straight into that T32A right there. And it's what you can do in the SFAC 105. You can switch between firing single, hitting people for 390 alpha, or just slapping them for near 800, which can be very, very useful at times, because as you can see, we could go for the double barrel shot there into the IS Desmond Tutu, but I just didn't want to take the hit. I didn't want to stick around, take the hit from the guy, because that extra half a second to reload would have probably caused that, and so we put one shot straight into him and then got ourselves back safe. And that's the thing with the double barrel mechanic in general, is that you do have that flexibility. Like I say, you can decide to be a single shot a lot of the time and just keep damage flowing that way, and you can then just use your double barrel mechanic as well, depending on the situation you're in. Because if you get a situation like we've just tried to have on the LHM TV there, for example, we can kill the LHM TV with the double barrel. So I decided to go for it. We only hit 1 out of 2, because you have that chance that if you fire the double, only one might pen, or only 1 out of the 2 shells might hit, because it is 2 separate shells that come out. But yeah, we had the opportunity there where we could kill the LHM TV in 1 salvo, so I decided to just try that, and this is where I decided to go for the single shot, because I know that I should be able to reload, put the shot into the HMH ISU 130, and then I'd be nearly reloaded to finish him off with the 3rd shell. But sadly, RNG said, absolutely not, you've got 270 pen at that angle, APCR problems with normalization, we're just going to go and hit the side of that guy and ricochet, because why not? Frustrating, but that's the way it can be sometimes with RNG, you know. But yeah, you can decide to be that double barrel or single shot. A lot of the time, if you know you're going to get the chance to be able to just keep firing, it can actually be better for your damage output just to fire single shot than fire a salvo. But if you get the opportunity where you think, I'm only ever going to get the chance to fire once before I get spotted and I need to get myself back safe, or I get the chance where, you know, they are going to get across the gap before I get the intraclip reload in to be able to fire, you really just take the chance to double barrel instead. You know, it's all about split-second decisions in the double barrel tanks, pretty much, to as and when you need it. Because if you just double barrel all the time, you're going to have pretty dreadful DPM in total, because you have that cooldown period. So, as you saw with that first game, we finished the game with the epic victory. We came top on the team with 2 kills, 3.8k damage, 188 assists, 137,000 silver, the high caliber, the third class, 1481 base XP for the SFAC 105. Pretty decent game there for the SFAC 105 on a map which is not the best suited to something that's like a stealthy tank destroyer with absolutely no armor. So we're on to the second replay. And the second replay is here on this map, which is Sunset Coast. Now, Sunset Coast could be quite a decent map for us, because this is where we're going to be able to use our nice gun handling, nice shell velocity, our very good camo, to position ourselves in positions where hopefully we can catch the enemy team out as they push, and also when we fire, because of the bush cover, stay unspotted when we do it, which could be quite handy. So we're just trying to find the shot towards the Rover 237 at the start. Sadly though, even though we got it mostly aimed in, he turned off just as we fired, so we missed the shot there on that Rover, but he does get shot down by our T-37. We were looking for shots towards the Citadel, but even though we can lock onto the guy, we can't actually see him, and that's because there's loads of cover between me and him. It just, for some reason, the outlines sometimes you can see them even though you actually can't. But now is our chance to go and get into a decent tank destroyer location where we can try and support that heavy tank that's down at D5. And again, if the enemy team try and push over the middle where the encounter cap is, we can try and stop them doing that, or even try and reset the encounter if they decide to try and cap it. Unfortunately for us, the heavy tank gets shut down by the T-34-3, and what I want to try and do is get towards that rock in front of me, because I was thinking about going into the corner, because the corner at C1 can be a good position to hide around if they do push aggressively, but I want to get onto this rock here, because there's plenty of foliage that can keep me unspotted, and while that's also happening, I can get good shots towards the cap round this left-hand side of the rock. I can also get good shots at the people at E56 around the right-hand side of the rock if I decide to try and spot it out. So they've got someone in the cap currently, which means that we've got to try and reset it or hope that someone goes to spot it. But we see the T-34-3, and as with all the double barrels, if you manage to double barrel someone and both of your shells hit someone in the ammo rack, likelihood is you're going to blow it up. And the ammo racks you tend to get with double barrels is quite common, especially for tanks that are terrible for getting ammo racks, like the T-34-3. That thing gets ammo racked all the time, same as the Type 59. Same as the Motherland, actually, as well. If you shoot them through the drive wheel, a lot of the time you'll damage their ammo rack. So when you're firing a double barrel, because that's basically double the chance of damaging a module, if that one shell is going to damage a module, the second shell will probably blow it. And yeah, ammo racks happen quite commonly if you do manage to hit that ammo rack. I mean, that was the first ammo rack I've ever had in this tank, to be fair, in the 15, 16 games I've had. But I'll take the 1141 damage. So the Draugen is now pushing towards the cap, which is great, because that means hopefully he should spot whatever is sitting in it. And my conundrum is, do I double barrel or do I single shot? I might stick to the single shot in case there is a slim shot on the tank in that cap and we end up missing it. Or, well, it completely depends on what's in there, realistically. So the Dragon's closing in on that cap, waiting to see if it finally does end up getting spotted, manoeuvring myself into a position where maybe I might get a better shot. And there's the Object 244. He drives out, sideways on, in front of our gun, and we poke the double barrel shot straight through the Tier 6 Soviet heavy tank there, finish him off for 1748 damage. So I decided, okay, I'm going to close in now and try and go up into the position like E5. But as we progressed that way, we actually ended up finding a Centurion. So what I want to try and do on Mr. Centurion is get a shot or two into him and put him down into the position where he will be a one-shot for the double barrel. And this is the camo, by the way. Absolutely filthily great. We double tap him. And the reason I do that is because he was going to get back behind cover, which meant that really the only opportunity I was going to have to fire was exactly then. But we've half-healthed him with the double barrel, which means now, with getting the double barrel back, I should be able to go close him down and just finish him off. And we'll end up two-tapping him with the double barrel. So we get it aimed in, make sure the shots are going to go in, and finish off the Centurion there for 697, putting us up to nearly 3.2k damage. But the Dragon's decided to go in on the medium tanks that are in the middle, so we're going to go and see if we can, again, help this guy out. But just as we come around the corner, the Huntsman was in a position I could have shot him, but just gets himself down low, avoiding the shot from me there. But the Dragon ends up getting shut down. There's still the two medium tanks. They're the only ones left. So I'm going to try and drive around this corner. If I can get a double barrel into them, that would be wonderful. But also, I want to kind of try and keep my DPM, so I'm going to fire a single shot. So we put a shot into the Huntsman there. The T-34-85 pokes around. I don't think he realises that I'll fire quite quickly here. And we shut down the T-34-85 there for our 4th kill of the game. And this Huntsman is double shottable. Now, I should just go around the corner and see if I can find him, but I decided to try and double bluff him because I don't want him to shoot me through the hull and set me on fire. I've had that happen too much because it does happen a lot for this vehicle. So what I want to do is try and surprise him. So we've played the bluff. We've gone around one way and gone, oh, now I'm unspotted. I'm going to go around the other and try and find this dude, drop a double barrel in and finish him off. But as we're coming around the corner, he's nowhere to be seen. And I was kind of surprised by this because I thought, well, the Huntsman's a decently mobile tank, but he's not going to be that quick, right? Well, I'd be wrong because the man has managed to outpace me. He's got all the way around this rock, and if I'd just kept going forwards, I would have bumped straight into him, which is exactly what I expected. He ends up not setting me on fire, and we put the shot straight through his drive wheel, finishing him off, securing our 5th kill of the game for 4.5k damage. The victory. With that 5 kills, 4.5k damage, the top of the team, with 159,000 silver made, high caliber, the 2nd class, for 1653 base XP. Again, a really nice game there for the SFAC 105, in a nice top tier lobby there on Sunset Coast. Showing again the way it wants to be playing. It wants to be playing that little bit further back, where it can use its camo, and just keep the damage flying out. If you can use the double barrel to catch someone out and put 2 shots into them, when you only have that 1 chance to fire, it's what you want to be doing. And it's very useful to be able to do that when you know you can pull back and get fully loaded once again. So we're on to the 3rd replay, and the 3rd replay is here on this map, which is Thiepval Ridge. Again, it's going to be a pretty nice map for someone in a tank like the SFAC 105, because you can play at longer distances, use the great camo, and use the nice shell velocity to just keep the shots flying. So we're in a tier 10 lobby, so this is the worst matchmaking we could possibly get. And we're going to go to G5. Why I want to be at G5 is I can try and shoot anyone that goes to the C line and puts themselves in open positions. I can spot that. I can also shoot the people that try and push our guys at E9, which quite a few of our team have gone there. Surprisingly, it's not often that you find most of your teams actually gone that way on Thiepval Ridge, because quite a few of the heavy tanks and stuff usually end up going down the 1-2 line. So we've got the double in. I'm just trying to find a cheeky shot into one of these guys. And there's the batch at 25T. We take the chance, and the double flies in. Sadly, didn't Amarak him there, because one shot clearly hit the Amarak, the other shot didn't. And we end up doing 770 damage to that batch out. That's a great opening salvo for the SFAC 105 into a tank that is, well, it's pretty dangerous if it's left to go to its own devices. So we're going to poke over and try and see if there's anything that's sitting at C45, because there's usually something sitting at C45, but we've got to keep our eye on the map, because that E5 has just been spotted right over there. Not many of our team have gone this way. So we end up finding a Hydra as well, over on the right-hand side, but I want to see if I can find the shots into the E5. I'm going to go for the double barrel, because I feel like if I fire once, he's just going to pull back and get himself safe. So we may as well double barrel, get ourselves back safe behind this ridge line, and then just get a full reload in, and we'll be Gucci. And as you can see, we didn't actually get spotted. That's because the camo on this vehicle is so nice. Looking for the cupola shot, but couldn't find it, and then we find a 114 SP2. Get the double barrel ready, aim for that turret, and why I wanted to go for the double barrel there over the single shot is because that would happen, which is our 6th cent went off, and we end up getting spotted. If I'd fired the single shot there, I would have done 390, and I would have had to pull back anyway, because yeah, we'd have been spotted, and we don't want to sit on top of a ridgeline spotted in front of some rather nastily big guns. That's how you lose your hit points very, very fast. So we're up to 3,051 damage with 426 assistance, made that 468 assistance. The 114 SP2 has just been shut down, and the heavy tanks are starting to push through a little bit on our left. We really do need to focus on trying to stop those guys, as well as getting rid of this Hydra. But there we go. There's the BZ-68. Get the double barrel in, because once again, I'm only going to get this one chance to truly fire there before I end up taking too many hits. So I just wanted to come over, dish out that massive damage, and then pull back, get myself safe while I reload. Also trying to maneuver myself into a better position to be able to poke over to shoot these guys. But we get detected, which makes me think, okay, there's still something towards the base. I don't want to take a hit. So now we're unspotted, though. This is where, again, the camo is a thing of beauty. We get the double tap loaded because we can finish the E5 off with a double tap. Camo's fantastic because we managed to poke up on that ridgeline there where quite a few other tanks might get spotted, and we didn't, which gave us the opportunity to get aimed up and finish off that tier 10 American heavy tank. We also managed to finish the M3Y off there without getting spotted, which is just what the SFAC 105 can do because it is that stealthy tank destroyer like that. And that double barrel really does pack a punch when you get it going like that, and the damage just racks up really quickly. Because if you fire a single shot, it does rack up really fast. You fire one, and then you have the little bit of cooldown. You can fire the second one after your intra-clip cooldowns happened. And then by the time you fired that second one, the third shell's nearly loaded. And then you can dish out another shot. And so you've done nearly 1,200 in that time, which can be very, very good. So we go for the double barrel there into the side of the 279E. One hits the floor, one pens the back of his turret. We're up to 4.8k damage with 927 assistance. And we're just going to go close the distance to see if we can get some cheeky double barrel shots into the side of Mr. 279E. But in fact, he ends up turning around to face us, which means with 270 pen, we can pen it if we hit it in the right spot. But it's going to be a bit of a struggle. And like I say, sadly for me, he has just decided to look at us and point his best armor towards us. So I've got the double barrel loaded. I'm waiting on the reload. I'm going to just wait for this 279E to give me an easy shot. So we'll wait for the turret to turn. He gives us enough of a side of his turret, but sadly for us, only one of those two shots actually pens the turret, and we finished the game with 5.2k damage. The 1101 assistance there for the SFAC 105 with the epic victory, top on the team. Again, nearly 200,000 silver. The sniper, the high caliber, with that 2,100 base XP, which would normally be an ace tanker requirement for something at tier 8, but it is set to the hardest requirement for the tier and class, as it always is now for new tanks, so that it's harder to get first day until the live data comes in. So this fourth and final replay here, I did forget to click record a little bit too early. I managed to capture the first 30 seconds just in time so that we could see how this game starts out, as we are in a tier 10 lobby, and it started out with a nice little double barrel there into the Leopard 1, which tracked him in place, and that double barrel basically killed the Leopard 1, which is a glorious way to start a game here on our dens. We couldn't quite find the shot there on the 705 who comes out of the town. So I was thinking, I want to sit here and see if I can get him. But you know what? Nothing else seems to be pushing out where that Leopard 1 is yet. Let's just go push in and see if we can get the shots into the 705 and help our team win this little battle that there is going to be going off. But there is 3 people here, so likelihood is they'll be able to kill it. So, we get one shot there into the M3Y, which was a bit of a misplay. We probably should have double-barreled him, because I thought I might have a bit more time there to get 1, 2, and then 3 into him before he got back safe. But he got back safe a lot quicker than I expected. If I just double-barreled him there, we'd have had more damage, and then would have had the time to be able to reload to even go after this Yag Tiger, which we managed to double-barrel straight through the side there as he's pulling back into the town for 806. And that's what I mean about the SFAC 105. It's the same as the other double-barrel vehicles, that if you get the opportunity to drop in that double-barrel, it can be so deadly, because you do have that split-second decision to make, which is, do I hit him once for 390? Or is he going to get back safe in time, and it's going to be a waste, just a single shot? Do I may as well fire double and get more damage? And that's what we've done. So we're up to 2.7k damage with 1285 assistance. We've got shots into the side of this Jagdpanzer, which I'm just trying to find. Really trying to make sure that I'm going to hit it. fully aim it, slap it in for 827, putting him down to a one-shot for the Contra 1 Mark II, and they finish off that big German Tier 10 tank destroyer. 3.5k damage now with 1431 assistance. The M3Y is just poking out enough for us to finish off, and we get our first kill of this game. The E75 is pushed into our FV225. I see the side shot there on the E75. Oh, it just ricochets off his side, which is a sad, sad time. It wasn't an FV225, it was an FV215B that he was face-hugging there, and the FV215B ends up finishing him off. I came into the town area here to see if I could get a shot up the town into this T-32A, but I couldn't find it because he'd managed to get back around the corner. So what I'm going to do is go round the corner in this next section here so that I can go up towards the spawn areas of the enemy team, see if we can find artillery or find any campy tank destroyers, because we know where the heavy tank is at B0, but there is 3 other tank destroyers as well as the artillery. One artillery is currently spotted down at E0, and 1 tank destroyer is at F9, which means there's still 2 tank destroyers unaccounted for, as well as the artillery. So we want to progress towards where I think one arty might be, and there he is. It's Mr. Gui. I decide, with the medium tank poking over to shoot him, and possibly the heavy tank as well, I didn't think I was going to get another opportunity to actually fire at Mr. Gui, because the Leopard 1 has really good DPM, so I just double-barreled it, got the damage in, and that meant we could also get back safe behind the cover as well, because if he decided to just YOLO a shot at us, we're made of spit and Kleenex. A Gui is going to pen us with HE. Again, we don't want that. We're up to 4.5k damage with 1431 assistance. The heavy tank is still alive at B9, and there we find the Audace. He's double-shottable, and we finish him off with that double shot. And we're going to close in on the Guerrilla 15. Now, I thought, okay, the Guerrilla 15, I feel like with the way he's just moved there, he's going to start running away towards our 2 tank destroyers. But in fact, he's looking at us. So we go for the shot. He hits us on the move. We hit him. With the next shot that I've got in the tank, I go for the tracking shot to keep him pinned. And hopefully, with the next shot I have in the tank as well, we should be able to track him again, and it will stop him getting us. But sadly, we didn't track him, and he finishes us off. Still a really great game there for the SFAC 105 in a Tier 10 lobby, as we finish the game with the victory. Top of the team, 2 kills, 6.5k damage, nearly 2.2k base XP, with the first class Confederate, the high caliber, the sniper medal. Really great game there for the SFAC 105 in a Tier 10 lobby, which, like I say, it is a fantastic tank destroyer. It's got that double barrel ability, it's got the single shot ability. It is a pretty damn fantastic tank destroyer. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!